And a very pleasant Sunday evening, everybody. Chief Meteorologist Mark Henderson here from the Weather Hub. Been an eventful weekend, to say the very least. Of course, we're talking about heat, humidity, and of course the storms that affected much of the region here on numerous intervals on Saturday. Our thoughts go out to folks that have suffered damage here from yesterday's storms, especially those out in the Belvedere community. Thankfully, the weather didn't get in the way of cleanup efforts here today, aside from the humidity still being elevated. At least it was quiet. And overall, with just a couple very small exceptions, things should remain quiet as those cleanup efforts continue into the early stages of next week. With that said, we are going to be talking about still a few storm chances, primarily focused on the next 24 hours or thereabouts. In fact, the radar picture right now is showing some showers and thunderstorms not too far away, mainly across eastern portions of Iowa, southwestern Wisconsin, and then extending northward into central portions of Wisconsin. Thankfully, over the past half hour, 45 minutes to an hour, this activity has really exhibited a weakening trend, and there are no severe thunderstorm watches or warnings associated with those. You got to go all the way up to the Minneapolis Twins, the Minneapolis St. Paul, the Twin Cities metroplex, where we do have some of those stronger to severe thunderstorms, and those are not a concern for us here whatsoever as we move forward through the remainder of the evening hours. Now, the activity that we see in eastern Iowa, what kind of an impact will that have on us here locally? Well, I don't think that there will be too much of an impact, which is certainly some good news. Let's take a look at our high resolution precision cast model. Start this off here right at 9 o'clock this evening. This model has a good indication or a good hold on what this activity is doing right now. So we have a good amount of confidence in its accuracy. So as we move forward, I think a couple of storms are possible to blossom, especially along and south of I-88. But the activity that we currently see on the radar picture in eastern Iowa likely going to just kind of rain itself out and shouldn't have an impact on us in any meaningful way, shape, or form overnight tonight. Sure, there could be a couple of sprinkles, and I wouldn't completely shut the door on a storm or two getting into the westernmost portions of our region, but overall, quiet conditions are likely to ensue. So let's take a wider view here, or a longer view, if you will, as we take you into our Monday. We'll start things off here, 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. Notice most of the storminess that does start to redevelop will do so closer to the Chicago metro area and then into south central or central and northern Wisconsin. But overall, quiet conditions are likely as we kick off our Monday. But as you look farther to the west, we are going to be looking at a pretty impressive complex of storms coming together, lining up along I 35 from the Twin Cities down through near Des Moines, and even a little bit of activity branching out in northeastern Iowa ahead of that main complex. We'll stop this here. This is the noontime forecast picture showing that shower and thunderstorm activity making some headway eastward. Basically, you're lining up along the Mississippi River from northeastern Iowa through western Wisconsin and southeastern Missouri. Anytime after 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon tomorrow, we're going to have to watch out for some of those showers and storms that'll try to make their way into our region. Here's the picture at 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Where I start to get a little concerned is anytime you see these individual little cells here that break apart from the main line. Those are the storms that do have the potential of rotating. Now, again, this is not a guarantee to occur, but it is something that we'll really have to watch out for closely as we get into the mid to late afternoon hours. This is 4 o'clock, showing showers and storms basically moving right through the Rockford metro and then stretching down south along the US 2 corridor to near Dixon in northwestern Lee County, or maybe extreme southwestern Ogle County over toward Polo. Could have some problems there. 5 o'clock, this should be moving, pushing fairly quickly on off to the east, although additional storms may still try to fire in the late afternoon or early evening hours. In fact, this precision cast model's take is that there will be some redevelopment. This more organized activity would be more capable of producing some more widespread gusty winds. So, a couple of intervals for some strong to locally severe showers and thunderstorms will be with us here from mid afternoon here until probably about midnight. Here's the picture at midnight showing basically just a couple of isolated showers and storms lingering, but the bulk of the activity pushing off farther to the south and east. And we should shut this off once and for all by the time we get to 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Now, could there be some redevelopment that takes place as we get into our Tuesday? It is possible a couple of storms may attempt to linger into the morning hours, though this run of our precision cast model says not so fast. That does not appear to be the case, and we'll certainly welcome that development with open arms. In fact, I think once we get through the mid to late morning hours of Tuesday, we're going to shut off rain chances, not just for Tuesday, but I think by and large for the remainder of the work week and maybe even taking us all the way through the weekend. Here's the severe weather risk for us here tonight. Marginal risk, level 1 out of 5 in the eastern portions of Iowa, where those storms are right now. But this supports our thought that there will be a weakening trend. We are not in a severe weather risk tonight through early tomorrow morning. Tomorrow, however, that level 1 marginal risk does cover the entire state line. I do think that gusty winds would be our main severe weather threat with this. But there also could be some hail and an isolated tornado, not entirely out of the question. Overall, though, I think those chances would be very, very low. But we'll have to watch out, especially in the mid afternoon through mid evening hours, that there could be some stronger storms. A couple of those storms may linger into Tuesday, but overall, the severe weather risk is essentially nil from Tuesday on, taking us through the rest of the week. One thing I also wanted to talk about was the possibility of some excessive rainfall. Right now, the Weather Prediction Center does highlight much of northern Illinois, in fact, all of northern Illinois and southern Wisconsin, with a level 2 out of 4, slight risk for excessive rainfall. These are going to be fairly slow moving storms, and so they would be capable of producing some extremely heavy rainfall tomorrow afternoon and into tomorrow evening. In fact, the latest outlook from the Weather Prediction Center does suggest that there could be some rather healthy rainfall amounts in excess of an inch to maybe 2 inches of rain in a spot or two. Then the longer range picture here. This is interesting to note because we are going to see a significant pattern change as we get towards the end of this work week and into the weekend. This is the picture beginning on Saturday of next Saturday, and that'll take us through the middle portions of the following week, suggesting that well below normal temperatures are expected across much of the Midwest and the Great Lakes. And the epicenter of that cool air may be centered right over us here in northern Illinois and southern Wisconsin. And a below normal temperature trend could take us all the way through Labor Day weekend. So the air conditioners, which have been thrust into major use here for the lion's share of the past month and a half or so, may get a substantial break. That will be something that we'll be watching very, very closely. So let's put some numbers to this. We'll head up to 88 degrees for a high temperature tomorrow. 70% is the chance for thunderstorms. And again, I think we're mainly focused from the afternoon through the mid to late evening hours. A 30% chance that a few of those may linger into Tuesday. High up to 87 on Tuesday, but we will start to feel less in the way of humidity, especially by Tuesday afternoon. So a more tolerable 87-degree reading. And 79 on Wednesday, another delightful Wednesday for the Rockton River Market in downtown Rockton, or any sort of outdoor activities that you may consider partaking in. 80 degrees on Thursday, 82 on Friday as we head out to Rockford City Market on Friday evening. Saturday, we're looking great at 80 degrees, and then a real taste of autumn could arrive here in time for Sunday. Sunday's high, just 72 degrees, and the low temperature Sunday night goes all the way down to 52. And if longer range forecast models do come to fruition, we could be looking at highs in the 60s by the early stages of next week, with low temperatures in the 40s, a distinct possibility. So the AC will get a break. I'm not saying summer's done because there are some signs much longer range that we could have another return to heat and humidity, but heat and humidity going to be harder and harder to come by as we head into the latter half of August, and then certainly as we get closer to September. So 2 more days where the AC will certainly need to be used, both tomorrow and Tuesday. We'll watch out for the storms here tomorrow afternoon and evening. Those carry with it a severe weather risk. A couple storms linger into Tuesday, and then we are home free for a substantial period of time. Some delightful weather for a good 5, 6, maybe even 7 days with a taste of fall towards the end of next weekend. All right, that'll wrap up our little Sunday evening get together. We appreciate you being with us. It's always a pleasure to be with you. We'll keep a close eye on the radar for you here tomorrow afternoon and evening, and we'll have updates as needed, of course, throughout the day. Until then, have a great rest of your Sunday night and an even better Monday. And thanks for your continued support of the Weather Hub. We look forward to talking to you very soon.